Then we have the lack of bipartisanship. And the most recent setback for immigration change or reform is, the speaker said, not now. It seems to be a lot of resistance to even having some sort of compromise on immigration. At a time when our workforce desperately needs to keep some of these highly educated foreign students in particular.
If not now, when? If not now, when? We keep putting it off. The beginning of the President Bush's administration, I was the Secretary of State, we were moving on this, and then 9/11 threw it off track. But sufficient time has passed so that we should all understand by now that we are an immigrant nation. We are fueled with every new wave of immigrant who comes to this country. People wonder, are we still the great country that we pretend to be or present ourselves to be? And the answer is yes. They're lined up at all of our embassies and consular offices saying, I want to go to America. 800,000 students from other countries are in America. And whenever they get the skills that can be useful in America, when they graduate with a PhD in computer science, give them a green card. The DREAM Act should be a no-brainer. And so I think we really have to buckle down and do something about immigration reform and do it as quickly as we can. And this has been a siren song of mine for many years.
You've been quoted as, you said, that there's a dark vein of intolerance in your Republican Party.
I will repeat that now. There are certain elements within the party which go out of their way to demonize people who don't look like the way they'd like them to look like, or who came from some other place. And I think the party has to deal with this. And the party says we're doing it. They came out of last year's election with a lot of ideas about how they were going to make themselves a little more acceptable. And yet you see things happening. You see members of the party in senior levels making statements about women, making statements about minorities that once again make the party look less tolerant than it should be. When you see a party that seems to, in some states, go out of their way to sort of restrict voting on the pretense that there is a lot of fraud going on. And I want to see a party, either Democrat or Republican Party, that is working to get everybody to vote. Isn't that what America's all about? Get everybody to the polling place, not keep it harder to get people to the polling place. And they should have learned a practical lesson when they tried this last year, say in Florida. Rather than stopping the minority vote, they came out in droves. You're not going to stop us. And the lesson should have been learned there, that if you try to tell people they can't vote, you'll get more and more people voting in longer and longer lines, and they'll wait to vote. That's what America's all about.
Memorably, you endorsed Barack Obama on Meet the Press. Are you still a Republican, or what do you think you are?
I was a Republican for the 8 presidential elections before Mr. Obama, where I voted for a Republican president. But when I was in the phase of deciding what I should do in 2008, I was disturbed by the direction in which the party was moving. And I made it clear at the time. And I thought Mr. Obama was the best choice for the economic reforms that we needed and for other things that we needed. And so people say, well, does that make you a Democrat? And I'm still a Republican. And I think the Republican Party needs me more than the Democratic Party needs me. And you can be a Republican and still feel strongly about issues such as immigration and improving our education system and doing something about some of the social problems that exist in our society and our country. I don't think there's anything inconsistent with this. And as I go around the country, everybody's focusing on 2014, 2016. And I said, don't think that Superman or Superwoman is coming in 2016. If you don't like the lack of civility, if you want to do something about the lack of civility in this country, it's the super people who are going to change it, not whoever the next president is. We, the people, have to start pushing back on all the incivility that exists in our society, especially in our media. And we also have to start listening to other sides to get a more balanced perspective with respect to the issues of the day and make the compromises necessary to keep our country moving forward, just as our founding fathers did in 1787.